going to talk about some legally things now. Hire external consultants so you can transfer the liability. So part of being a board member and getting educated is to make decisions based on those who have the actual knowledge or experience to be able to give you that advice. So we're going to re-roof our buildings. We have a construction manager who's written a scope for us and who is helping us hire a contractor. I, as a board member, have, even being in this industry 20 years and having re-roofed many buildings as a manager, do not have the experience to tell you whether a roof is going right. Nor am I climbing on a roof because I'm terrified of floats to know whether it's installed right. I just don't. But if I make decisions about these things without consulting an expert, I could get some liability if something goes wrong. Does that make sense? If I hire Bob's, handyman service to replace $2 million worth of roofs and he installs them wrong, and we didn't go out and ask somebody about that, it could be an issue. So we always want to hire external consultants. I had this community I consulted with, this is an example of a very bad thing. They had a homeowner in their community who was an attorney. That sounds great, right? He was their corporate attorney for years. He served as the attorney for the corporation. Now you tell me that that's not him acting in the best interest of his client when he had to make a decision that would go against something that applied to his home. That led to some really, really bad decisions, and that ended up not very well for that community. But you want to hire people who don't live in your community, first of all, and who are experts, who you can transfer the liability to, so that in the event that something goes wrong, you can say, we, board, relied on the advice of XYZ person when this happened. You get what the attorney people call safe harbor if you rely on experts. You get someone to point the finger at who said they told us to do this. And so it's basically a provision that allows you to reduce or eliminate liability. So long as you relied on the experts of that person, then the liability is on them if they gave you that advice. And then good faith is you took the advice with the honest intent to act without taking an unfair advantage of somebody. So you always want to act in good faith, right? So that you're making a decision that's sort of in the best interest of the community as a whole. Again, we talked about strategic planning. We talked about this quite a lot. The next one I'll tell you is confidentiality and a unified board is critical for success. Now, when I say unified board, I mean everybody does not have to agree, and it does not need to be kumbaya at your board meeting. Every decision does not have to be by unanimous decision. It does not have to be a 5-0 vote around the rule. It can be 3-2. You can't vote no on certain things if you don't believe in it. You can't vote yes on certain things if you believe in it, even if it's going to be 2 yeses and 3 no's. You can do that. But at the end of the day, when you walk out of the meeting, the decision of the board is a decision of the board. And whether or not I voted for it or not doesn't matter. I have to uphold it as a board member. So that's what I mean when I say unified board. So it's okay. I think a lot of boards think we can't make a decision unless we're making a decision where we all agree on the decision. And that's actually not true. You can make a decision and it can be a 3-2 vote or a 4-3 vote if you have a 7-member board, but it does not need to be a unanimous decision. It just needs to be a decision. But at the end of the day, if I'm the person who votes no or on the other side of the decision, I still have to support it. Confidentiality, big one. I was just looking at my financials for my HOA before I came over here this morning, and my neighbors across the street who I'm very close with are behind in their assessments. I cannot say anything to them despite the fact I really want to. It's not my job. It's the manager's job and responsibility. And it's also not my job to talk to anybody about that, about them being behind on their assessments. The decisions and things that we discuss in executive session regarding litigation or private matters for a homeowner are just that private. And so those things need to stay confidential. Talked about all board members. Okay. 2 other concepts that you might hear about is a duty of care and business judgment rule. So a duty of care means that you agree that in good faith, you are going to act in the best interest of the corporation. And with such care, including reasonable inquiry, as an ordinarily prudent person in a like position would use similar circumstances. This basically means that you're going to act in the best interest of the corporation, and that you are going to act as any other director that was in your position that had the same information would act. So that's called good faith or duty of care. But the business judgment rule essentially is a legal provision that allows you to gather the information, and that if a reasonably prudent person or a person that was in the same position as you received the same information, would make a similar decision. Using the information available to them at the time would have made the same decision. So if you use these two things, sometimes these are a get out of jail free card as a board member when something goes bad.
We do appreciate you here at HOA Strategies, the ability we have to work with each of you. So thank you for attending today.